Hello and welcome. Today is Crypto Day, which is Monday, the 26th day of March, 2018. My name is Derek. Like always, everything within your own risk, own reward. There will not be charts in this video. Rather, I'm going to be explaining the trading system that I have started using within Bittrex. Okay, so let's assume you own a crypto. That sounds very basic and well, it kind of is. How much is it worth? And what I like to do is have every single cryptocurrency that I have worth the same. 1 unit. Maybe 1 unit is 0.01, maybe it's 0.005, maybe it's 0.015 or 0.02. In fact, it's pretty much one of the four. But regardless of the point, everyone's trading amounts are different based on their bankroll, based on how many of these they would be playing. So therefore, when you enter into a position, how many of them can you get for 1 unit? And that's what I'd be buying to enter in at. The price is obviously going to go up and or down. Well, it's going to be and on the long term, but as far as its next main direction, it could be up and maybe it'll be worth 1.18 units because it goes up 18%. What the plan in a situation here would be to do would be to sell it down to 1 unit, however many it takes to do such. Then I would sell this alternate coin and it would be once again worth around 1.0 units. If the markets start to retrace to the downside and it's maybe worth, say, 0.86 units, which means it would have fallen 14%, then I will buy what is necessary to, again, bring it back to 1 unit and such. I'll talk about the orders and how I place the buy and sell orders within such. And I like to use this on Bittrex because when you go to your wallet page, it's got some great features. You can sort it by percentage gains and losses, and they should tell you the ones that are in high necessity to either be sold or bought. But you can just sort it by value, and you'll see that almost all of them are around that 1 unit, a little above and a little bit below. But when they're not a little above or a little below, that's when I, again, would be looking to buy or sell. Therefore, this is the list of codes in which I am doing this against. 1, a hedge against the US dollar. Not really excited about this play, but I'm doing it anyway. And the amount that I would put on 1 code, these are my larger ones, I am putting on the US dollar. So if Bitcoin goes down within what I'm putting in, I'll get a little bit more Bitcoin, and if it goes up, I'll lose a little bit. Again, it's a hedging form more than anything, a little superstitious. And I really emphasize or highlight the word little-stitious because I'm not superstitious, but I'm kind of a little bit, and this is one of the very rare examples. Omi's Go, I have a larger stake size, so I've got 4.38 times larger than a normal size. Komodo, 2.5 times larger. I'm also trading this against Litecoin. I'm also arbitraging this as well, so I got multiple forms of trying to make profit with Komodo. And Dash and Monero, I'm doing 1.88 times larger as well. I got more Dash backed. I'm trading it also against Litecoin, as I am Monero against Litecoin. And I do have Dash and portfolio hardware just a bit more in case it goes way higher, then I would sell it later. So 1 unit plays. I have 47 of them in total. So 47 plus 3.75 plus 2.5 plus 4.38 plus 9.38 means I have 67 units in play. I have 38 units in Bitcoin ready to go whenever I have to buy any of the codes. So what I am playing, starting off with ArtByte, these are in alphabetical order, Cardano, ADX, and pretty much 85-90% of these are decent to high volume codes. If they're not, there's a good reason for it, because I've arbitraged it well / traded it well, and I still like its future potential. And when you look at any of these coins like the CAN, DOPE, and they're just a different variety as it comes down to it as it is. But this is the list. Most of them, again, have decent size volume, because I don't want any of my codes to quote-unquote get delisted. They're mentioning like well over 80 are going to get delisted on Friday, but those are, from what I researched, codes that they're really delisting from the wallet, not the exchange. They've already been delisted like moons ago. And yeah, so that's that. So just to give you an example, I'm going to show a spreadsheet and show some examples of the one code that went crazy yesterday, which was DNT. This one here, I made quite a few in and out transactions yesterday. I'm going to show you how those transactions worked out. And as it was going up, I ended up selling 430 of them at $6.99. 2 would represent a sale, and 1 would represent a buy. The price in Satoshi, what I sold it for. So originally I sold it for $6.99. And that thing was like, okay, this is a nice push higher. So my strategy here was, okay, this thing might have the potential for a decent sized gain. So I didn't want to sell for a while, and that worked out well. I was able to sell next at $9.73. And I sold 630. But when I sold this many, this was the exact many rounded to get to the target number that I'm looking to set for myself. So I have my eye on this now throughout the day, even trying to get small percentage moves if applicable. So I buy back 160 at 882. Every single time it was a buy and sell numbers to get me to the point that I needed to be at. Sold again 955, 158. I bought 168 at 879. Sold 325 at 1078, 295 at 1344. Bought back 190 at 1151. Bought back 120 at 1071. Sold 220 at 1249. Bought 131 at 1129. Sold 82 at 1203. I mean, that was just a small level. Like, is this even worth doing? Well, profitably it was, because the market went down. Buying back 246 at the 1010 number, and then maybe getting a little impatient here, buying back 138 more, going down just 7% from the 1010 mark, closer to 8% really. Okay, so how this worked out for my calculations is that I am out. I have 1,718 of these things. And if I didn't sell anything, I would be at 2,871 if I just did nothing. So I'll call hodling versus holding, I guess. I don't know which other way of putting it. I ended up having what it's in here. I bought 1153 for 0.011 Bitcoin. I sold 2160 for 0.022 almost. So I'm up about 0.01 Bitcoin, which is this number here. At the price of 903, they are worth that. And that means overall throughout the trades combined, this is what the number would be, which is barely lower than what buying and holding would be. Because every single time in which you try to outperform the market by buying low, selling high, which means, okay, you're able to pick a sale here, buy back here, sell here. If you can consistently do this, it's gonna be easy to overperform the market. However, if you get to situations where, say, you sell here, but your buyback doesn't come into place, maybe you sold again here and your buyback was even further away this time, And it gets to the point where the amount of tokens that you own as the market goes higher diminishes large, really. You're going to be profiting in an uptrend. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can be in a situation in which you can underperform someone just buying and holding, which means maybe you buy 100 units here to try to buy and sell, and somebody else does the same thing, buying 100 at the same price point. Next thing you know, you don't even have anywhere near 100 at this stage. Maybe you got like 15 or 20 or however many it happens to be down to. And the amount that you would have profited from this point to here would be a lot lower than someone that just stuck on and held on to 100. Now, over a long-term time frame, this can totally change if, say, something like, say, this were to occur. And now, next thing you know, because of some great buybacks in here and maybe a little bit of extra profit-taking modes, then later on they will be outperforming a hodler, quote-unquote, in an uptrend. And of course, when situations work out to downtrends like the following, you get to the point where you can overperform somebody who is hodling this way as well. Now, there is risks associated at this point in here when you're putting extra investments, extra liquidity into the market as it goes down. But it's very, very probable that you could be a little bit down here with all your buying and selling because this thing would go straight down. But you would have been maybe barely up here and up a little bit more here, and if you get back to here, you'd be back to even again because of all the times that you would have been able to profit take with a buy in here, selling a bit here, and then of course the in this situation in here, there would have been a lot of selling opportunities up at this point as well. In a sideways market, it is a no-brainer that you will always outperform the market by using strategies like this because, well, it just always happens to work that way in a sideways market. So as long as the markets don't go straight down, that's the big killer, of course. If they go straight down and then it stops going straight down and it has some nice rallies, then it will no longer be a straight down market. But it's obviously has to retrace a decent amount of what it's going to lose for you to have enough confidence to be able to play in such a code of whatever nature. And if I'm playing like several dozen of them, if a few of them happen to be scam coins that end up being on the losing side, well, you know what? So be it. That's how I'm playing the game and expecting that some of them are going to do well. But overall, as long as the market moves and doesn't go to nothing anywhere in the near term, then it's going to work out fine. And of course, my protection for the markets going to nothing has always been using cryptos to basically buy things, silver and other stuff. Now, within this mechanism, I am 100% looking to increase my Bitcoin portfolio when I do this, because I always want to have these 47 codes worth 47 units total. It's always going to be worth the same. If the market goes up decently higher, I'm going to have a lot less of those tokens. If the market goes decently lower, I'm going to have a lot more of them, so on and so forth. So let's talk about placing orders in this type of strategy. And we'll go back to the spreadsheet I've already made. I probably have to change the columns formats a bit. Nope. Okay, so let's assume that you wanted to buy something, say, at a cost of 0. Now we're going to need a price for something, and I'm going to need to make this column a bit bigger. Let's just assume it's at a price of 600 Satoshi. That's 8 decimals total. So 600 represents 3 digits. I need 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go say 522. Now, if you want to place, say, 10% of a Bitcoin on 1 unit, and then you're going to need to buy about 19,100 of them, which is basically what I would do. I like the even numbers, so I'm not going to play with any of these decimals too much. And there, we're ready to go. We got our buy in. Now, what happens if, say, the price goes down? What I would do is put a buy order in and just see how much 10% of a Bitcoin is worth. So I would already have bought, say, we're just going to write it in here, buy 19,100. But I want to put a buy order in, and let's just assume I want to wait for, say, 375. Well, for 1% of or 10% of a Bitcoin, I would need about 26,600. So that would translate to about 7,500 additional one. So I would put a buy order in, say at 375, to get, say, 7,500 of them. Now I want to place sell orders. I like placing three of them. One, an immediate sell target, sort of like the example that I shown in here on the 699, and then a decent one there after that, and then an insane one to finish it. So we have, in this case, to start off with 19,100. But what price do we want to sell at? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We bought at 500. So say you want to sell at, say, 650. You had, on your first buy, 19,100, which means they'd be worth 12.38% of a Bitcoin. So I would sell 0.0238 worth, and that would work out to get it back down to 10. I would need to sell about 3,650. So I will put a sell order in. Let's say 650 for 3,650 of them. So then I put another sell order in. And I know now that I would have, at this stage, if I've already gotten rid of 3,650, I would have 15,450 left. As we can see, it'd be worth about 10% of a Bitcoin, what I would sell it down to. But if I want to sell this one at, say, 1,000, I'm going to need 4 decimals now, 2, 3, 4, 1. That would be worth, say, 15.4% of a Bitcoin. So I'd want to sell it down to the 10 number. In this case, it would be about 5,400. Okay. So then for the final one, that would leave me with like 10,050. And I put an insane number in. So what's a big number over 1,000? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 8,500 instead. And that would be worth 85%. And I just sell it all right here. Somebody wants to pay an enormous amount, and I can be there for it, relatively active. I'm going to take my chance and sell it. Because what chances am I taking? Oh, the thing's going to go up 40 times and just never come back. Okay, yeah, that's the chance I'm taking. How about most of the time they're going to buy it well more than what it's worth, and I can just instantly, or within minutes or hours, get it back. And even in times where, say for example, the thing goes way up and it goes up like 100% in an hour, in a moment, 20 minutes. Well, there can be times where you can sell well lower than such, where you sell at like 375 and 650 and it goes to like 910, 850. Yet next thing you know, it falls to 450, 500, and you can start getting some of your sales back. And again, there's nothing wrong if it goes up with profit taking, something you kind of lose control with. And in this case, you can technically never sell out, but you would always have what your starting amount within such an example. And people will spend a lot to buy and sell the markets well more or less than what they're worth. And I had an amazing trade today, a Litecoin market opening on Cryptopia, and on the first day of the market, I made my day's pay basically. At 1300 hours, let me just get rid of this here and maybe even scroll this down. At 1300 hours and 1 minute, I sold 2,201 of an altcoin, and I received a little over 5 Litecoins for such in the Litecoin base market. It was an amazing deal. I didn't notice it for about a half an hour, but when I did, I knew what I had to do, and I had to get these coins back. And I wasn't doing it on the Litecoin exchange. So I sold 3.313 of my little over 5 Litecoin that I received, and I got 0.06 Bitcoin. I sold what was necessary to get this many, because I knew that 0.06 Bitcoins would get me about little less than double than what I sold. It took me 4 minutes to buy over 4,000 of these, because during the short period of time, the sellers wouldn't budge. As it looked like the market, sellers were leaving the markets, they weren't overbidding each other, and they were removing bids. So I had to pay what I did for such. But my overall gain was I ended up with 1.763 more Litecoin than I had started with from before. That worked out to 0.032 Bitcoin net value. And 1,832 of these altcoins worth 0.029 Bitcoin, or 6% of a Bitcoin more value. And since I got up, these are more than I had from before, more than I had before. My Bitcoin number, even though there was 2 transactions, remained unchanged. The whole point of this is people in smaller markets will buy these things up for insane prices or sell them down for insanely low prices, that if you have your orders in and quote unquote get lucky or can time it well, then you can get amazing gains. For the person, probably one person who bought the 2,200 coins off me, I don't even remember if there was any more other offers of note that they would have bought. I mean, they could have just sold that on the Litecoin exchange like I did, bought it via Bitcoin, and that would have gotten them a lot more. So understand, it's price only that pays. Understand the price you're paying. Understand the price that you are selling. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.